In the world of contemporary design, luxury no longer shouts, it whispers. Today we explore how modern minimalist architecture transforms space, light, and silence into the new pillars of high-end living. These homes aren't just built. They're crafted to calm the soul and elevate everyday life. Welcome to Minimalist Luxury Redefined. Minimalist architecture isn't about empty rooms. It's about intentional living. Every line, material, and void serves a purpose. Inspired by Zen and Bauhaus ideologies, modern minimalist homes prioritize function, clarity, and mindfulness. This is where luxury meets restraint, and where fewer choices lead to greater harmony in design. Minimalist luxury homes often begin with open, fluid spaces. These aren't simply large rooms, they're spatial experiences. Boundaries dissolve, ceilings soar, and sightlines stretch. By giving space room to breathe, architects offer homeowners a canvas of calm, where function flows and visual clutter disappears. Natural light is the lifeblood of minimalist design. Through oversized glazing, clear-story windows, and light wells, these homes harness sunlight to sculpt interiors. Light becomes a design material, casting shadows, defining planes, and creating dynamic moods throughout the day. It's a quiet luxury that evolves with the sun. Silence is rarely discussed in architecture, yet it's one of the most luxurious qualities a home can offer. Thoughtful acoustic design, insulation, and spatial zoning help minimalist homes feel like sanctuaries. Here, stillness becomes a feature, one that modern life desperately craves but seldom finds. Minimalist luxury homes rely on a restrained palette of materials: raw concrete, natural wood, brushed metal, limestone, and soft fabrics. These choices aren't flashy, they're tactile, timeless, and honest. Their subtle textures and hues create a calm visual language that resonates with quiet sophistication. While the mantra form follows function still holds, minimalist luxury pushes further. Form now follows emotion. Architects design spaces not just for utility but to evoke feeling. Calm, focus, inspiration. From curved walls to warm niches, emotional intelligence is embedded in the blueprint. In these homes, only what's essential remains. But essential doesn't mean bare. It means curated. Art pieces are intentional. Furniture serves multiple purposes. Decor is restrained but meaningful. Everything included earns its place through purpose or beauty. This is luxury refined to its purest form. Japanese architecture has heavily influenced modern minimalist luxury. Concepts like negative space, and wabi-sabi, beauty and imperfection, shape these designs. By celebrating the understated and the incomplete, architects invite serenity into the everyday and create homes that breathe. Blurring the boundary between interior and exterior is a hallmark of minimalist luxury. Expansive glass walls, courtyards, and garden rooms invite nature in. The architecture becomes a mediator between the human and the natural. The result is homes that feel open, alive, and deeply grounded. Simplicity doesn't happen by accident, it's rigorously designed. Minimalist architects obsess over alignments, proportions, and clean details. The goal? To make complex planning appear effortless. Every invisible joint and concealed fixture speaks of precision and control, a quiet testament to design mastery. Luxury is also about convenience, but in minimalist homes, technology hides in plain sight. Lighting systems, HVAC, and sound controls are integrated discreetly into walls, floors, and even furniture. The tech serves, never dominates. Another example of how silence and restraint shape the experience. Color in minimalist luxury isn't absent. It's subtle. Earthy neutrals, monochromes, and organic tones form the backbone of the palette. These hues bring warmth without distraction, allowing the materials and light to do the talking. The result is visual calm, a soft luxury that's always in style. In these homes, everyday activities are elevated through thoughtful design. Showering becomes a spa ritual. Cooking happens in gallery-like kitchens. Sleeping feels like retreating to a private sanctuary. This is luxury that doesn't need gold or chandeliers. It simply designs for better living. Without visual clutter, texture becomes the star. Hand-troweled plaster, flamed granite, oak grain, or linen curtains. All of these enrich minimalist spaces with depth and tactility. They invite touch, slow down the gaze, and add layers to the minimalist story. Rather than filling walls with decor, many minimalist homes treat the architecture itself as art. A staircase becomes a sculptural moment. A skylight slices light like a painting. These aren't backdrops. They're expressions of creativity that replace the need for excessive ornamentation. Windows aren't just openings, they're compositional tools. Architects use them to frame trees, the horizon, or the sky. In doing so, they turn nature into a living artwork, ever-changing with the seasons and weather. It's a daily reminder of life outside the walls. minimalist homes' furniture isn't filler, it's architecture. Custom built-ins, low-slung sofas, and floating shelves contribute to the clean lines. Pieces are often selected for their form, material honesty, and scale. The result? A space where air and movement are never obstructed. Even with open plans, minimalist homes maintain hierarchy through ceiling heights, light levels, and material transitions. The dining area might feel intimate, while the living room feels expansive. These nuanced changes guide the experience without needing walls or partitions. Many minimalist luxury homes incorporate water not as utility, but as experience. Reflecting pools, indoor fountains, or rain-inspired showers bring sensory calm and rhythm. The sound of flowing water becomes another dimension of silence, soft, subtle, and grounding. The traditional courtyard has been revived in minimalist homes. Often placed at the heart of the layout, it brings light, ventilation, and tranquility inward. With bonsai trees, gravel gardens, or a simple patch of sky, these courtyards become modern-day sanctuaries. Materials are shown, not disguised. Concrete is left exposed, wood grains are celebrated, and stone is allowed to age. This honesty connects people to the construction process and the natural world. Luxury not through perfection, but through truth. In minimalist homes, shadows become as important as light. Louvered screens, slatted facades, and recessed windows create patterns that shift with the day. This subtle choreography adds movement and mood to spaces that may otherwise seem still. first impressions matter. The path from outside to inside is carefully choreographed in minimalist design. You might pass through a narrow stone corridor, a quiet reflecting pool, or a minimalist garden. This slow reveal builds anticipation and sets the tone for serenity. These homes engage more than the eye. The acoustics of silence, the scent of wood, the coolness of stone floors. Each element is curated to create a multisensory experience. Luxury in this context is not visual excess but sensory richness. Minimalist luxury homes are often deeply responsive to their site. They align with sun paths, embrace prevailing breezes, and frame surrounding landscapes. Whether urban or rural, these homes feel rooted because true luxury adapts to its environment. Beyond aesthetics, minimalist homes can promote mental well-being. Studies show that clutter-free, well-lit spaces reduce stress and enhance focus. These designs aren't just beautiful, they're therapeutic. Architecture becomes not just a container for life, but a contributor to wellness. While often associated with Japanese or Scandinavian design, minimalist luxury is global. From Brazilian tropical minimalism to Mediterranean stone simplicity, each culture brings its own interpretation. This universality speaks to a shared human desire: peace, clarity, and beauty in living. Minimalist luxury is more than a style. It's a mindset. It's about creating space to live well, think clearly, and breathe deeply. In a world of noise and excess, these homes offer something radical: silence, simplicity, and soulful design. And that, perhaps, is the true future of luxury.